Hello, everyone. This is Dan Riley. With college football bowl season around the corner, I've suddenly found myself distracted by a show on the Adult Swim programming network from the creator of Samurai Jack called Primal. I rarely sink into entertainment on the show because it's really not my expertise, but in this case, I just had to put together a review for my listeners. First off, I am blown away by this show. One minute my jaw drops, the next I merely feel lukewarm towards what I'm seeing on screen. First off, if you cannot handle graphic images of injuries and blood, don't watch the show. You'll regret it. Years of watching violent movies still left my jaw falling to the floor with the amount of blood, injuries, and combat between a caveman and his enemies. That's not to say I have complaints here. This perfectly establishes the kill or be killed world early humans lived in. Now, true, humans and dinosaurs never lived at the same time, but that theme of the show is brought across pretty well. Our main character, Spear, winds up throwing his right through the head of a charging dinosaur with blood spewing everywhere. If anything, ancient combat between early humans must have been very similar. The backgrounds are very colorful, more to set the mood than anything else. You know Spear and his T-Rex Fang are in trouble when they walk into a freezing cold cave with, say, a bunch of saber-toothed tigers staring them down. Genndy Tartakovsky put very little dialogue in Samurai Jack. There's absolutely none in this show. I can understand why viewers would be bored with that kind of a setup. It's not easy to establish characters' motivations without conversation. The pressure is put on the writers to use visual elements to bring that across. We can tell Spear is still ticked about the death of his family at the hands of a bunch of T-Rex. We see facial features on the characters. That's all you need. Now, Genndy didn't really use episodic storytelling in Samurai Jack, so it's impossible to tell where this series is going. Yeah, I'll admit that's a problem. We cannot tell if this will end with Spear getting revenge on those T-Rexes or not. One minute we're fighting a bunch of 10-foot tall bats, the next episode our heroes are taking on a bunch of velociraptors. It's confusing. It's hard to tell where this is headed. It's confusing, and I'll have to see where it's going. And I'll admit, yeah, that's where the writing falls apart a little bit. Look, I'm not going to say this show is a masterpiece. Having said that, I can't take my eyes off it. This is a show about survival at the dawn of humanity where every step could have been your last. Far more full of danger than even the modern world could ever match. This show sure is an adrenaline rush, I'll give it that. Is it Emmy worthy? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. This is an all too appropriate show for a time where, regardless of your background, you're scared to death of what the world has in store for you when you so much as get out of bed in the morning. Now we all feel we might as well be facing down a bunch of T-Rex when we leave for work in the morning. We're left to team up with people we have trouble trusting at first, and yet we have no choice. That makes the show's flaws a little more forgivable. The subject matter of death is explored, along with tough choices involving whether that animal is worth killing for dinner, knowing very well it left its family behind. Never has a show captured the ancient world so well as the nastiness we feel in the world around us now. And yet I can't ignore the show's problems. It's up to the individual to decide if they'd enjoy this, but there's something here I can't put my finger on. This is Dan Riley for Sports Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in, and so long.